Today, we're going to look at a passage in the book of Romans that, honestly, builds what you could call an architecture of hope. It's this incredible, divine structure that's built for us, especially for our weakest moments, those times when we don't even know where to start, when we don't know how to pray. Have you ever been there? I mean, truly been there. You're in the middle of some kind of suffering, some deep confusion, and you try to pray, but nothing comes out. The words just aren't there. It's like the weight is so heavy that language itself just breaks under the pressure. It's a really human and honestly a very lonely feeling. That feeling of prayerlessness would have been a huge deal for the people who first read this letter in Rome. To really get the power of what Paul is saying here, we have to kind of step back into their world. I mean, they were facing immense pressure, persecution, total uncertainty, and they were living in a culture that basically saw prayer as a performance you had to get right. And this slide, it just lays it out so clearly. You've got this clash of two completely different ways of seeing the world. On one hand, you have the ancient view. Prayer is all about performance. You had to have the right words, the right posture, or else you were risking the anger of the gods. But then the gospel comes along and just flips the whole thing on its head. It says, no, your weakness, your brokenness, that's not a barrier. That's the exact place where God meets you. It understands that real suffering, deep suffering, goes way beyond what words can even express. So let this sink in, because this is the liberating truth that changes everything. Prayer does not fail just because your words fail. Your inability to perfectly articulate your pain is not some kind of spiritual failure. It's just the starting point. And here, the camera kind of pulls back from just our personal struggle to this massive cosmic scale. Because here's the beautiful and heartbreaking truth. You are not alone in this feeling. Your suffering isn't some isolated event. It's actually part of a universal story. Romans chapter 8 shows us this incredible shared experience, what we can call a triad of groaning. First, Romans 8 verse 22 says that all of creation groans, like it's in labor, waiting for redemption. Then, verse 23 says that we, as believers, we groan too, longing for our adoption to be made complete. And then, this is just amazing, verse 26 reveals that the Spirit himself groans. So you see, you're part of this huge chorus of longing that stretches from heaven all the way to earth. Okay, so right here, the story takes this absolutely breathtaking turn. Right at the point where we're faced with our own weakness, our inability to even speak, divine help steps onto the scene in the most personal way you can imagine. The promise kicks off in Romans chapter 8, verse 26. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. Now, let's just pause on that word helps. It is packed with so much more meaning than we usually give it. The Greek word here is sunon tilambana metai. It's a mouthful, but what it means is incredible. It doesn't just mean to help out from a distance. It literally means to take hold of something together with someone else. So picture this. You're trying to lift something impossibly heavy, and someone comes right up next to you, grabs the other side, and lifts with you. That's what the Spirit does. He shoulders our weight alongside us. And how does he do it? Well, he takes our wordless pain, our silent groans, and he translates them into perfect prayer. The Spirit himself intercedes for us, making sure that the deepest, most confusing cries of our heart are heard perfectly by the Father. I mean, think about that. It's God the Spirit praying perfectly on our behalf to God the Father. Now, this intimate help from the Spirit isn't just a random act of kindness. It is anchored in something so much bigger. God's eternal, unbreakable purpose that holds absolutely everything together. It ensures that our story is always moving toward a guaranteed, glorious destination. And this leads us to that incredible promise in Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are called according to his purpose. But we have to notice what that good is. It's not necessarily about our immediate comfort. The good that everything is working toward is something very specific, being conformed to the image of his Son, Jesus. It's all about our transformation. And this whole purpose is secured by what's often called the golden chain of salvation. It's an unbreakable sequence. Those he foreknew, he also predestined. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified. You see, from God's perspective, it's a finished reality. There are no gaps. No one gets lost along the way. So where does all of this land? What's the point? It all comes together in a person. The whole architecture of our hope, the Spirit's prayer for us, the Father's unbreakable purpose, it's all centered on and it's all secured by Jesus Christ. So when you are right in the thick of it, when you're suffering, Remember this. You are not being held together by your own ability to figure out what's going on. No, it's so much better than that. You are being actively carried by the divine intercession of the Holy Spirit, who is praying for you even when you can't. And even though you might feel completely lost, like you're just drifting aimlessly, the truth is, you're not. You are anchored to a purpose that is eternal and unbreakable. You are not just enduring, you are being formed. Every single circumstance, every tear, every wordless groan is being woven together by a loving Father to make you more and more like His Son, Jesus. And that, right there, is the bedrock of our hope. All of this is true for one magnificent, world-changing reason. Because Christ, our elder brother, has already gone before us, through suffering and into glory. And because He is risen, and because He is reigning right now, your story cannot, and it will not, end in loss.